All right. Again, this is a test. Not a test of the emergency broadcast system, but a test of the Wagner Wire broadcast services, broadcast network. That's right. The Wagner Wire sports, movies, gaming, life. That's essentially where we'll be. Yeah, it kind of, was the Wagner Wire where fantasy sports become fantasy grinders, or where fantasy grinders become fantasy champions. But we're gonna change some things, realign some things, and this is where this is a test, but this is where the music would be coming in once I get everything set up. And then we are clicking into the show, and welcome to the stream, the live stream. Just a couple things that I wanted to get off my chest for this evening and get out of my head on some Saturday Night Fever. A lot's been happening in the week. We got a lot of NFL free agency to talk about, and I will get to more of that tomorrow on my show, The Wagner Wire, on 1049, 1019 AM 1260, and you stream it live at hornfm.com. That is from 9 to noon. I will be anchoring the sports broadcast systems for 1049. So make sure you tune in. Myself and the Smash tomorrow from Studio. The Annex, Horn Annex North, from Stu Myrick's house, aka where sports guys talking wrestling, their headquarters is at. So, before we get into the meat and potatoes, tonight's topic is Amari Cooper. Just if you're coming up out of Iraq, he signs a 5-year deal for $100 million. Got to break that down a little bit. Is he worth it? We'll talk a little bit about it. We'll tease it. We'll put it in the oven and then have it nice and baked like a nice little cinnamon bun that we can talk about tomorrow morning on the show. Again, that is the Wagner Wire, the radio station of the Wagner, the radio version of the Wagner Wire, and you can tune in on the radio station in Austin, Texas, which is 1049, 1019 AM 1260. And again, you can, if you're not in the area, Austin, Central Texas area, you can stream it at hornfm.com. Before we get into the meat and potatoes, before Amari Cooper and that breakdown, let's talk a little bit about what this is. Everybody is starting to stream now. It seems like it's the way of the future. This is the beginning for the new realignment of the Wagner Wire. Even though up in this little header thing says, where fantasy sports grinders become fantasy sports champions, that the four pillars are changing. It will be sports, movies, gaming, and life, because essentially those are the four things that I'm going to be talking about here on the Wagner Wire, writing about it on thewagnerwire.com as well. All videos will go to thewagnerwire.com. Make sure you plug into that. Going through some website realignment as well. Again, doing some restructuring. We plan to roll this out. Hopefully it's perfect in a couple of weeks, maybe a month, which brings me to my first point, the beginning. I have a consultant, I would say. Honestly, he's just a friend, a really, really awesome friend, a mentor, not just with my business or wherever I want to take my next career move, but just with life, right? He's got probably a decade on me, seasoned veteran in the second Civ Div that I like to call. That's a kind of a military joke. We always, try to put a unit on where we're going. Second recon, second light armored recon, second light or second battalion, third Marines, stuff like that. So second Civ Div is what we used to call the civilians. Lost my train of thought. Anyways, he was giving me some really good pointers, and I was kind of hesitant and reluctant to roll out the stream because I wanted it perfect. Kind of being, the Marine that I am, or kind of like having that motto and that background instilled in me. You're kind of afraid to make a mistake because sometimes the smallest mistakes can result in really bad casualties. So you just want to roll out a good product, and plus it's pride. It's product pride. You don't want it to stink. But he brought up a really good term, and I should have wrote this down for the show notes. But MVP, and most of us think of MVP as most valuable player, or, we associate it with the elite status. But in this term of business term, it's minimal viable product. I believe I quoted the acronym correctly. But essentially, it just means get your damn product out there. Stop testing the water to see if it's good. Jump in the water. Go for a swim. And that's essentially what you want to do with the streaming that I've found, right? Like, I tried flirting with everything with the background. I'm using. So I reached out to Ari Temkin as well. Ari Temkin does great streams, and he told me about OBS and asked me if I'm familiar with OBS. And so for the most part, I was kind of waiting to kind of master and perfect OBS until I rolled out a product. Don't do that. Just roll the damn thing out. It's kind of like writing, right? For all you writers out there, kind of like the kiss of death is just seeing that blank, that cursor just blinking at you, waiting for you to get something on paper or on computer. Digital, Bobby Digital. But just go ahead and, get your words out there, get your message out there, and then reread. That's how I usually write articles anyways. I just throw my words out there, then I rearrange it. Usually, I find me and my buddy Brian actually agree to this. Write messed up. You do your writing all messed up, but you edit sober. So, you expand on your creative meta thought there. Your meta thinking. But anyways, the beginning. So I'd love to have your feedback. I'm new at this, very novice. Learning when the best time to stream is, dealing with some home problems here, some really small first world problems. Got the kids streaming video games in the other room, and my wife's probably working, usually Monday through Friday now with the coronavirus pandemic. My wife's been working from home, so there's a lot of content going out over, our bandwidth. We're using a lot of bandwidth here at Casa de Wagner, the Wagner Wire headquarters, and maybe I got to make some arrangements and adjustments with, my internet connection or whatever. I don't think so. Hey, speaking of internet connection, I have accepted a full offer to those of you that might be in touch or remember, that it was on with 1049 Norm. I'm still there. The Wagner Wire, as I mentioned, the Wagner Wire, the show is still there, just not producing. They wanted to take a little bit of an opportunity to try and step into the TV world and find something to broaden my horizons, right? To try and continue to learn. Again, it kind of is opening the door for me to do projects like this. I got a green screen that I bought. I can't wait to utilize that and to learn that, and chroma key and setting all the settings with that. I'm still trying to go through and get everything down. So again, your comments, your input, your advice, love to have some feedback to, make a better product. But moving to Spectrum, hopefully I'll get some really good internet access, so we won't have to have these bandwidth problems. Why am I streaming? It seems to be the future, right? With this pandemic that's pretty much putting everything in a holding pattern, really, locking up our economy for the most part right now. And I don't even want to get into politics. That's one thing I'll probably try to avoid on this station is politics. I'm a libertarian. I'll just, full disclosure, full transparency here. I'm a libertarian, and I'm tired of getting shit on. All right, all my friends on the left shit on me. All my friends on the right shit on me. I can't win. I'm tired of losing. It is important for me to win. I like to pick fights that I can win. I don't like to jump into a fight thinking that I'm going to get my ass kicked, even though usually that's how it happens when it comes to politics. If you are a libertarian. Okay, enough politics talk. Where was I going? Why am I streaming? Yeah, this seems to be the way of the future, right? Everything seems to be shut down. I mean, you're seeing small businesses struggle. You're seeing everything struggle. Essential personnel can't even go into the studio, or not just studios, but to their workplace, their work environment. now people are working from home. My wife's working from home. People, radio personalities, talents, TV talent, they're all doing their work, their content, producing their content from their home. And that was another thing that was kind of making me a little bit reluctant. You can hear the dryer and everything too every now and then, right? I'm trying to find the best way to soundproof my room to make everything perfect. Right? Again, you hear that word with me a lot, time and time. Perfect, perfection, perfection, perfection. How can you roll out a perfect product? Maybe you can't, but it's always a goal to strive for. I believe that streaming is the way of the future. I mean, you're looking around and nobody is really able to resume with their ordinary routine life, except for gamers. Video games, streaming. My God, you got professional athletes now. Kevin Durant hosting a NBA 2K tournament, which I think is great. It is channeling energy in a positive way, and it is creating a platform and for people to actually content for people to watch. Maybe even gamble on. I mean, most of you people have money on the sun coming up that are avid followers and watch this stream or listen to the show on 1049. We will be bringing the podcast back. I don't know which streaming service I'm going to go with, either Libsyn or SoundCloud. I've worked with both. I've liked both. But if you guys have any other preferences out there, please share them with me. I think I like SoundCloud just because I've been working with them a little bit more with the horn. But when I first got into this, Libsyn was definitely the way I went, but it was a little bit pricier. But I didn't feel as many restrictions as well with Libsyn as I do with SoundCloud. And maybe it's just because you got to pay for more bandwidth or something like that. Again, still a huge learning process for me. Adam doing a show tomorrow. Oh yeah, as we mentioned the show. You gotta learn how to turn these bells and whistles off. Yeah, as we mentioned the show, we get a text from the PD from 1049 The Horn. Yeah, E. Hogan, if you tune into this channel, this show, I'm answering your question right now. I am going to do the show tomorrow, absolutely. And so it moves us into alignment. Why are we realigning the four pillars of the Wagner Wire? Well, like I just mentioned, the only thing that is able to survive or seems to be sustaining right now is streams and gamers. I never thought I would say this. I will touch a little bit more on this with the show tomorrow. I touched a little bit on it last week as well. My granddad and grandmom kicked me out of bed, told me to go get a job, told me to play sports. Basically, the main message was video games will rot your brain. Yeah, I took that in. It computed. I was always an old school gamer, but I knew that it probably wouldn't make me money. Pump the brakes. Boop, 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 boop. Pump them. Because EA Games is down here. You can get a really good job with EA Games. And if you're a video designer or a graphic designer, kudos to you. Hats off to you. I really wish I would have learned those skills moving forward or at a young age and being able to take them moving forward into this life, this time of my life right now. I can't even tell that to my kid. Like, I can't say, get off the video games because you'll amount to nothing. Go out there and work on your jumper. Go out there and work on your moves. Get to the cup. Nope. Because it all applies now. Because now he's got an uncle, my brother-in-law. Follow him on Twitch at El Dirty Squirrel, or I think he's even got a YouTube channel as well. It shows you that I really follow him. But I do follow him on Twitch. Follow me on Twitch, Plague, as in the bubonic plague, Plague3181 for gaming. We're evolving and going to gaming as well. But he actually started this about 3, maybe 4 years ago. El Dirty Squirrel is his Twitch channel. One of the best gamers out there, really entertaining, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be at TwitchCon this year as well, unless it gets canceled. Most things are getting canceled. Pretty good optimistic news from the sports front. Talking with a few of my buddies, there's a good chance that Major League Baseball could resume mid-June, maybe tentatively in June. I got an email from a couple of buddies that I was in the Marine Corps with, and they're still in, and they're not sharing any top secret information or anything like that. But things could be resuming around July, maybe, or there could be some exercises that resume around July. That's being optimistic. So that's just giving you a little bit of I guess, a glimpse of when we could have our sports realm and day-to-day activities resume. Which I know this is a tough time for a lot of people. Most people are trying to get by and cope by doing watch parties. I think that's a great idea. My boy BK, he does them as well. Follow him on Twitter, Brad Kellner. If you're not doing so already, he's been doing a lot of watch parties. I think it's a really good idea to just keep people positive and channel really good optimistic energy moving forward. Watch parties, they might get stale to some people. That's kind of why I've evolved a little bit into gaming. But again, keep doing the watch parties. We've tried to create the frozen pizza Final Four to supplement the March Madness tournament. Whatever you can do, right, to try and entertain yourself. A lot of people, like my buddy Al Walsh. Follow him on Twitter at 14a.walsh. He's got Money on the Sun coming up. That's usually the common joke that we have every Sunday when we talk to him on the show. But I mean, he bets on different blades of grass. Like, he'll go and grab a handful of grass. What is the total sum of millimeters or centimeters that are in my hand right now? You think I'm joking? Nah, he bets on it. All right. Quarantine life. I kind of hinted on it a little bit. Trying to evolve into the gaming, and really we've had a decent plan of one person out, one person designated to go get groceries, one person designated to pretty much just make runs for everything that the house needs. Except unless, of course, you got to go to the doctor. Like, my wife had to go to the doctor not too long ago. I think today, actually, as a matter of fact. Ding. Where's my head been? Plugged into the Wagner wire. So, quarantine life, I've basically been putting a lot of energy into my website. Excuse me. Really trying to, I guess, make the site good. Shocker. What time are you broadcasting? I'm broadcasting right now, man. I'm sorry. And that's another thing. I got to link my social media accounts together. As you see, this is all a test. So, a test of the emergency broadcast system. We're going to answer tweets on the air while we're streaming live. I'm not even sure how many people are viewing. That's another, I wish OBS would tell me how many viewers I have right now, or if people were watching. I wish I had a chat line that I could actually interact with. Yes, YouTube. And I wish I could link text. I probably could link my text messages up to the computer, but that would be distracting. It would take away from the show. But it's kind of like reading a text line for the show. Ooh, getting ideas as we're doing this. I should definitely have a text line for when people text in and maybe call in for a live radio show. So quarantine life. What have we been doing? Well, we've been focusing a lot of energy on the Wagner wire. Again, I'm the only one that's being designated to make the runs. Monsters, all right? So Monsters, everybody knows this. This is my drink. You can either buy at the buy 2 of these bad boys for $4.56 a day. Trust me, I know it adds up. Or you can go to the HEB or your Target and pay around $15 to $17 for a pack of 10. I advise that. I advise buying in bulk, but you might suck them down like I do. However, if you can, I guess parcel them and have impulse control and not drink them. Maybe limit yourself to 1 per day in moderation. I think that's a really good dietary idea. But if you're gonna buy in bulk, you got to go out and buy. If you're going to buy these, period, you got to go buy them in bulk, because $4.56 just does not add up. Went to HEB yesterday and today. Again, small world problems, complaining about small world problems. it was like, what, I looked at the line. One, it's raining. It's been raining in Austin for 2 days. It's essentially 20 to 30 minute wait in line just to get into the damn HEB, and I only need one item. So I've been breaking down, spending almost a total of $9 in the past 2 days just on 4 monsters. That's ridiculous. When I can, $4 more, 12 to 15, whatever it is, I can get a pack of 10. Seems to be the ideal choice. Okay, into sports, the meat and potatoes, and this is what we will talk a little bit more about on the show tomorrow on 104.9, 101.9 AM 1260. Amari Cooper just signs. I mean, really, it's kind of been the last piece of the puzzle for NFL free agency that we've been waiting on. Amari Cooper, wide receiver of the Dallas Cowboys, now retained by the Dallas Cowboys. 5 years, $100 million. Is he worth it? Most of the time when I think of Amari Cooper and I envision Amari Cooper, I don't see him making big catches. Now, again, disclaimer here, I am a miserable New York Giants fan. And I'm trying not to be overly negative on Amari Cooper, but I thought that he struggled when he was with the Raiders as well, with drops. Tremendous athleticism, of course, right? We've seen the plays that he's been able to make, but it's the drops that really stick out to me. At Alabama, he was great. I mean, you've heard that story a million times. Collegiate athlete, far more successful in college than he is in the pros. You didn't see him struggle too many with drops in Alabama because Alabama ran the ball, right? Saban ran the ball. They didn't really throw. Their pass is predicated off the run. The old man, he always used to say, put the ball in the air, 3 things happen, and 2 of them are bad. He's got a pretty damn good point. Play the odds, play the numbers. Don't throw the ball, run the ball. Well, not in today's age, or not in today's game. And now you're seeing, everybody pretty much air it out, except those Ravens. They do go against the grain, and so does Josh McDaniel and the New England Patriots. Yeah, and tomorrow we'll talk about Brady's top 5 games as well. Some of the top 5 that Brady, the GOAT, has performed best under. But Amari Cooper, so last year, 2019, 79 catches, 1,189 yards, 8 touchdowns. You'd like to see the targets. He targeted 119. You'd like to see the targets up there around 130 to maybe 140, especially if you're going to pay a wide receiver this type of elite money. And I think it's like a 10% on the cap as well for the Cowboys. Cowboys fans, Cowboys Nation, pump the brakes. You might be sitting there saying, well, we should have signed Dak. Dak's going to walk. Dak's going to look for the next team because he's not getting his money. Wait a second, okay? Because the way that Dak is currently taking on the franchise tag, I think he's making somewhere a little over $30 million right now this year. I think the franchise tag on quarterback, now I don't have that pulled up, which is, I shouldn't even have talked about something if I don't have it pulled up, because it's just not on my recall. But I believe he is around 33 million per cap, or for the salary cap this year. And then even in terms of the next 2 years, by 2022, I believe I have these numbers correct, he can make somewhere of the sum of up to 74 to 75 million. So it's not like he's hurting for money. I don't think he's actually going to leave the brand of the Cowboys with the star on the logo, because with endorsements, he could even make more money than that. We've talked about what it's like to be wearing the star on your helmet. It's that mailbox money after life. You know what I mean? Look at Romo. Look at Witten. Look at Aikman. I mean, all these guys are icons, right? And they come from where? Dallas. As much as I hate to say that, you put the star on your helmet, you're a star for life. It just is. They're the biggest in sports, some of the biggest personalities in sports media. Michael Irvin. Hot take, love him or hate him, but he is entertaining as hell. And when he's on TV, I'm always watching. And he's usually knowledgeable about everything, to most of the stuff too. So Amari Cooper, let's break down some numbers here. We'll compare him to 2 wide receivers, and I'll break this down a little bit more on the show tomorrow. Rex Ryan, goes out there and calls Amari Cooper a bum. He's recanted and apologized for making those remarks. But or not a bum, he says turd. But he does, I mean, he's kind of, I'm not calling the guy a turd. He's a professional wide receiver. But the catch radius, 66%, 66.44%, based off of that stat line that I gave you. 79 receptions, 1,189 yards, and 8 touchdowns off of 119 targets. That comes up to a catch percentage of 66.4. I know. You'd like to have him around 70 and stuff like that, right? Yeah, so would everybody. Is he worth the money? Let's break down more numbers. Let's compare him to one Nuke Hopkins. Nuke Hopkins playing with Deshaun Watson, we would call a decent quarterback. I thought, after his rookie year, I thought he was going to be, even for fantasy projections, I ranked him as the second ranked quarterback. I think behind Aaron Rodgers that year. And we actually saw that Patrick Mahomes took off and had that tremendous 50 touchdown or just hellacious year, just shattering everybody's records. It's basically when Patrick Mahomes, had his breakthrough year. But compared to Nuke Hopkins, who's on another 5-year deal of 81 million. All right, Nuke Hopkins had 150 targets, 104 receptions for 1,165 yards and only 7 touchdowns. 1 touchdown less than Amari Cooper. 69. This is what I'm seeing right now. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe I'm not broadcasting. Not sure. 2 views. Maybe, I don't know. People are sending me messages saying that I'm not setting this up or broadcasting right. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm just doing all this for nothing. I thought I was live. Yeah. Go live. Yeah, maybe I'm live. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I got to do a few things in this. I thought maybe that the OBS thing also did this too, but apparently I'm just now getting the stream, which is awful. So maybe it's in the archives, the first half of the show. If not, now I know what I got to do. Again, trial and error. Really appreciate everybody commenting and telling me what I need to fix with all that stuff. If you're just now tuning in, or if I'm just now tuning in to you guys, again, we talked in the beginning, why we're essentially doing this. Everybody, I'd love to have some pointers on this. And then we were just talking about the Amari Cooper deal, 79 receptions, 1,189 yards, 8 touchdowns with a catch radius of 66.4% off of 119 targets, just signing a 5-year, $100 million contract based off of those numbers to Nuke Hopkins, who's on a 5-year deal with a salary of $81 million. Numbers for Nuke: 150 targets, 104 receptions on 1,165 yards for his 7 touchdowns. A catch percentage of 69.3. Again, we just talked about how you wanted to be up again in the 70% or the 70th percentile when it comes to catch percentage. Nuke is there. He's kind of flirting with it. He's right around the 69 mark, and he's essentially 19 million less. Right? 19 million less than Amari Cooper. Now, you can say that it is the cost of inflation, it's the market, whatever you want. Amari Cooper, I just, again, when you think of Coop, do you think of him making, big, tremendous receptions, catches like Nuke Hopkins makes behind his head? Again, Nuke's an elite wide receiver. I just don't think that Amari Cooper is up there with that type of classification as Nuke Hopkins with elitist or with elite talent. He's talented. I just don't think he's elite. Tier 2, not tier 1. I don't think I'm blowing anybody's head with that. I don't think I'm blowing your mind, right? The numbers would state that he should be paid like a tier 1 wide receiver. His contract states that. I don't see it in the numbers. Mostly, I remember drops. Now, a guy that I do think is worth the money, Michael Thomas. All right, compared to you want to compare numbers. Michael Thomas, 96. His right now his contract, 5 years, 96,250,000. You're getting every bang for your buck with Michael Thomas. 185 targets, 149 receptions, 1,725 yards, 9 touchdowns, a catch percentage of 80.5. Pump the brakes if you think that it's all Drew Brees, because 6 games was Teddy B. I'm not saying that Teddy B is not a bad quarterback or not a good quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater's a great quarterback. He's going to do some good things with Carolina. But come on, man, we're talking 80% with 2 quarterbacks coming back. You ain't skipping a beat. To me, that old adage of the quarterback makes the wide receiver. The wide receiver's already been made. The mold has been made for the prototype wide receiver. It is Michael Thomas. It's tremendous strength in his hands. We talk about it all the time. I had benefited off of taking Michael Thomas as a rookie in the 16th round. After his rookie year, I saw the talent. I have a lot of friends that go to Ohio State, or that went to Ohio State, a lot of Ohio State alumni. And I know how braggadocious they can be, especially when it comes to their football team. But stats don't lie. I mean, they keep producing talented NFL products, and they keep getting W's on the board. And I think tomorrow we'll even talk more about the NFL draft as well on the show, The Wagner Wire, which you can hear on 1049, 1019 AM 1260. Stream it live at hornfm.com. That is the radio portion of this show. Again, this is the new stream that we're starting. We talked about the beginning, Genesis, if you will. Really figuring out some of the bells and whistles, not just bells and whistles, but the minimal viable product, as my buddy Darren likes to say. And we talked about tweets. We talked about numbers. I just broke down those numbers to you, trying to justify if you think Amari Cooper is worth the money. I don't think he is. We'll touch a little bit more about it on the show tomorrow. But one of the things that I want to start doing on this show, when we start doing these daily streams, is the tweet of the day. All right, and what kind of got me in the numbers type of mentality, the tweet that I saw from today, and I want you guys to go check this handle out because it looks like a pretty good follow. It's FanSmack. It looks like they've kind of been in the Twitter world for a little while, but you can follow them on Twitter at @ThisIsFanSmack, and they pose a pretty decent tweet, or just kind of NFL question for the day. Who had the best stat line in 2019? And your picks are of Nicholas Chubb. He's got Ezekiel Elliott, and he's got CMC. Well, you'd think, and I mean, I'm not going to sit here and read you off all the numbers. Yes, I will. I ain't got nothing else to do. Chubb had rushing yards of 1,494, with rushing yards per game of 93.4, and then rush attempts of 5 per attempt, rushing yards 5 per attempt, and then 8 touchdowns. Compared to Zeke, 1,357 yards, 84 yards per game, 4.5 yards per pop, 12 touchdowns. I do like him getting into the pay, but to me, touchdowns, it's kind of tough to, I guess, put too much of a value on. I mean, don't get me wrong, you want a running back that can get you into pay dirt for sure, but I mean, how many times have we seen Michael Tolbert steal touchdowns away from D'Angelo Williams or Jonathan Stewart back in the day? Touchdowns, it's kind of like having your pitcher go out there and rock 8 solid innings, and then the holder comes in, and because he might want to save that night, allows people to get on base and blows the win potential or win opportunity for the stud that just went 8 frames for you, throwing lights out baseball, and now because he doesn't want to save, he wants to get the win anyways. I don't know. Wins aren't guaranteed, touchdowns aren't guaranteed. But I think if you can get all the rest of the stats, I think that bodes better. But again, we'll get to CMC. That was Chubb and Zeke, and CMC right now for his rushing yards, 1,387 yards, and then per game that's 86.7. Per pop 4.8, and then 15 touchdowns. Now, one stat line that I wish I would have seen on this tweet would be touches. How many touches that all three of these running backs had between Chubb, Zeke, and CMC. Obviously, and I'm being presumptuous here, but I would want to think that CMC had the most touches because he had to. Cam Newton going down, just relying on unpredictable arms at the helm between Allen and Will Grier. I mean, just take your pick. Ron Rivera getting X'd halfway through. I mean, it's just tough. I mean, I didn't expect much success for CMC, but he gets you the fantasy numbers. That's for sure. Best stat line, I'm going to go with CMC. But again, that's the follow. It is FanSmack. At This Is FanSmack. Just a pretty good handle that you might want to check out. If you're not already checking out the Wagner Wire, that's the show. You can go to that Twitter handle or tweet at me at NotTheFakeWags. Tweet the Horn as well, the Horn ATX. What else? I think we've hit basically everything. We've talked about quarantine life, what I've been doing. I've been working on my website in quarantine life, learning about streams, learning how to stream a little bit better. We're actually learning how we go. We talked about, not getting caught up in the perfect product, just rolling it out. That's what the advice that I received from my buddy Darren. Really more than just a mentor, really awesome friend, and just more than a mentor of business, but a mentor of life as well. He's, again, like I said, I talked about it in the beginning of the video, but apparently I wasn't streaming. But he got like a decade on me. I really appreciate his perspective on life and everybody's perspective on life. You can't get better if you don't open up your mind and allow evolution or allow yourself to just grow. You can't be stuck in your own ways. You got to be willing to understand the fact that you make mistakes. And maybe sometimes you, or at least in my case, wanting to wait and be reluctant to get the perfect product out for release maybe isn't the right way to go. Just get the damn product out there. And again, I compared it to writer's block, right? For writers, when you're writing the article and you just sit there and you see that cursor blink at you, it's so damn annoying. All you really want to do is just get the first message out on your screen. It's kind of how this is with streaming as well. Again, that's going to wrap it up. We will talk a little bit more about this on my show tomorrow. Tune into it. It's on 104.9, 101.9 AM 1260. You stream it live if you're out of the Austin area. You stream it live at the Horn FM at hornfm.com. I think I hit pretty much everything. Yeah, follow me on Twitter at NotTheFakeWags, Twitch. We're evolving into gaming as well. That seems to be one of the only things that's surviving in this pandemic. Introverts, you won. Congratulations, you won. Making all of us sit inside, go stir crazy here. Oh, soundproof in the room, acoustics. If you guys have any tips on soundproofing the room, making it a little bit better for streams, love to get your info on that. I'll probably stop needing to slam the desk. Please comment in the sections below. What's the best way that I can get comments on the same page while being able to monitor the levels of the stream as well? Because again, I don't have a producer next to me kind of doing everything in one. Reminds me of the old days. Until tomorrow or the next time that we're on, man, enjoy the ride. We'll talk to you soon. TheWagnerWire.com. Ooh, we need a voiceover for that.